In every facet of our lives, relationships hold a special place. They shape our experiences, influence our emotions, and contribute to our overall well-being. To cultivate strong, meaningful connections with others, we must start from within. Let's explore how to build and nurture relationships that are grounded in love, respect, and understanding. In our journey through life, one of the most significant gifts we can offer ourselves is the understanding and practice of self-love. It's the cornerstone upon which every meaningful relationship is built. When we cultivate a deep sense of self-worth and acceptance, we not only enhance our own lives, but also set a powerful example for how we wish to be treated by others. Self-love isn't merely about feeling good or indulging in occasional self-care. It's a profound recognition of our intrinsic value. It begins with acknowledging that we are worthy of love and respect just as we are, without needing to conform to external expectations or prove ourselves. This fundamental belief in our own worth creates a strong, unshakable foundation that influences every aspect of our interactions with others. When we embrace self-love, we naturally attract healthier relationships. This is because the energy we project reflects our internal state. If we see ourselves as valuable and deserving, we will set higher standards for how others treat us. We'll be less likely to tolerate disrespect or unhealthy dynamics because we recognize that we deserve better. Our sense of self-love empowers us to establish and maintain boundaries that protect our well-being. Moreover, self-love enhances our ability to connect with others on a deeper level. When we feel secure in our own worth, we are more open to giving and receiving love freely. We approach relationships with a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. This mindset allows us to engage with others without fear of rejection or inadequacy, creating space for genuine, heartfelt connections. A key aspect of self-love is the practice of self-compassion. This involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a close friend. It means being gentle with ourselves during times of failure or difficulty rather than criticizing or judging ourselves harshly. By practicing self-compassion, we foster a nurturing internal environment that supports our emotional and mental well-being. Self-love also means embracing our unique qualities and strengths. Each of us has distinctive attributes that contribute to our individuality. When we learn to appreciate and celebrate these aspects of ourselves, we build confidence and resilience. This self-acceptance enhances our interactions with others, as we are no longer seeking validation from external sources, but instead derive our sense of worth from within. Furthermore, self-love involves taking responsibility for our own happiness. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our lives and make choices that align with our values and desires. By taking proactive steps towards our personal growth and well-being, we demonstrate a commitment to our own happiness, which in turn positively impacts our relationships with others. In summary, self-love serves as the bedrock of strong, fulfilling relationships. It empowers us to set healthy boundaries, attract positive interactions, and connect with others authentically. By nurturing a deep sense of self-worth, practicing self-compassion, embracing our uniqueness, and taking charge of our happiness, we create a solid foundation upon which meaningful and enriching relationships can flourish. As we cultivate this inner love, we not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to creating a more loving and harmonious world around us. Open and honest communication is the heart of any strong, lasting relationship. It involves more than just speaking. It's about creating a space where both parties feel safe to express their thoughts, emotions, and needs freely. True communication is built on trust, empathy, and mutual respect, and it's essential for building deep and meaningful connections. When we engage in open communication, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality, it's a strength. It takes courage to be transparent and share your innermost thoughts and feelings with someone else. When we choose to be open, we invite others to do the same. This mutual openness fosters trust, as both parties feel understood and valued. In relationships where communication flows openly, misunderstandings are less likely to arise because there is a shared commitment to clarity and honesty. Honest communication doesn't mean being blunt or hurtful. Instead, it involves expressing yourself in a way that is true to your feelings but also considerate of the other person's emotions. It's about finding a balance between being direct and being compassionate. The goal is to create a dialogue where both people can speak their truth without fear of judgment or rejection. This kind of communication builds a foundation of respect, where both parties feel heard and validated. Listening is a key component of open communication. Often when we think of communication, we focus on the act of speaking, but listening is just as important. Active listening means giving your full attention to the other person, not just hearing their words, but truly understanding their message. It involves empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes and trying to see the situation from their perspective. When you listen with empathy, you show the other person that their thoughts and feelings matter. This creates a stronger connection and opens the door for deeper, more meaningful exchanges. One of the challenges in communication is navigating difficult conversations. In any relationship, there will be moments when uncomfortable or challenging topics need to be addressed. Avoiding these conversations may seem easier in the short term, but it often leads to misunderstandings, resentment, or unspoken tension. Engaging in honest discussions about difficult issues is essential for the health of the relationship. It allows both parties to address concerns, clear up misunderstandings, and work towards a resolution. While these conversations may feel uncomfortable at first, they ultimately strengthen the relationship by fostering a deeper level of understanding and trust. In open and honest communication, it's also important to express appreciation and positive feelings. While it's necessary to address issues and concerns, it's equally important to acknowledge the positive aspects of the relationship. Expressing gratitude, admiration, and affection helps to nurture the bond and reminds both parties of the value they bring to each other's lives. Positive communication creates a balance that sustains the relationship, even in challenging times. Ultimately, open and honest communication is about creating a safe space where both people can be their authentic selves. It's about speaking your truth with kindness, listening with empathy, and being willing to engage in difficult conversations when necessary. When both parties commit to this level of communication, the relationship becomes a place of growth, connection, and mutual respect. Practicing forgiveness is one of the most transformative actions you can take in relationships. Forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful behavior or pretending that hurtful actions never occurred. Instead, it's a conscious decision to let go of resentment, anger, or the desire for retribution. By choosing to forgive, you free yourself from the emotional burden that comes with holding on to past grievances, creating space for healing and growth in both yourself and your relationships. At its core, forgiveness is a form of self-liberation. When we harbor resentment or hold grudges, we are the ones who suffer the most. These unresolved feelings can weigh us down, affecting not only our emotional well-being but also our physical health. Stress, anxiety, and bitterness often arise from an unwillingness to forgive. By letting go of these negative emotions, we allow ourselves to experience a sense of inner peace and freedom. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it does change the way we relate to it, allowing us to move forward without being trapped by old wounds. Forgiveness is also an act of compassion both toward others and toward ourselves. When we forgive, we acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes and no one is perfect. It's important to recognize that hurtful actions are often a reflection of someone else's pain, fears, or insecurities. By understanding this, we can approach the act of forgiveness with empathy, seeing the humanity in others even when they've caused us pain. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but rather offering grace and understanding, knowing that we too have likely hurt others at some point. Self-forgiveness is just as crucial as forgiving others. Often we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, berating ourselves for past mistakes or perceived failures. This self-criticism can be damaging, leading to feelings of unworthiness or guilt. By practicing self-forgiveness, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness and compassion. It's an acknowledgement that we are human, and part of being human is making mistakes. When we forgive ourselves, we let go of self-blame and open the door to healing and personal growth. In relationships, forgiveness plays a vital role in restoring trust and fostering a deeper connection. No relationship is perfect, and conflicts or misunderstandings are inevitable. What matters most is how we respond to these challenges. By choosing to forgive, we signal our commitment to the relationship and our willingness to work through difficulties. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened or ignoring the need for change, but it does create an opportunity for reconciliation and moving forward. It allows both parties to reflect on their actions, take responsibility, and make amends where needed. Practicing forgiveness also strengthens resilience in relationships. When we forgive, we demonstrate emotional maturity and a capacity to handle conflict constructively. This resilience is essential for sustaining long-term relationships, as it fosters an environment of trust and understanding. Couples, friends, or family members who are able to forgive each other are more likely to navigate the ups and downs of life together, knowing that mistakes won't permanently damage the bond they share. Ultimately, forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves and to others. It requires strength, vulnerability, and a commitment to healing. By practicing forgiveness, we release the past's hold on us, creating space for love, joy, and connection to flourish. It's a process, one that may take time and patience, but the freedom and peace it brings are well worth the effort. Mutual respect and boundaries are fundamental components of any healthy and thriving relationship. Without these two elements, relationships can become imbalanced, leaving one or both individuals feeling disrespected, unheard, or even emotionally drained. Respect and boundaries work hand in hand to ensure that both parties feel valued, safe, and empowered within the relationship. Mutual respect is about recognizing and honoring the individuality of the other person. It's the understanding that every person has their own unique set of beliefs, values, experiences, and feelings that deserve acknowledgement. When you respect someone, you validate their right to have their own perspective, even if it differs from yours. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the other person says or does, but it does mean that you approach their views with an open mind and a willingness to listen. In relationships, this respect creates a foundation of trust, as both parties know that their voices will be heard and taken seriously. Boundaries, on the other hand, are the guidelines we set for how we want to be treated and what we're comfortable with in a relationship. They define the limits of our emotional, mental, and physical space. Establishing boundaries is not about putting up walls or creating distance, but rather about ensuring that both individuals can maintain their sense of identity and well-being. Clear boundaries help prevent misunderstandings and conflicts because they communicate expectations up front. When both parties understand each other's boundaries, they can interact in ways that are respectful and considerate of one another's needs. One of the key aspects of mutual respect is respecting these boundaries. When someone sets a boundary, it is a clear expression of their needs or limitations, and respecting that boundary is a way of showing that you value their well-being. For example, if a person communicates that they need personal time to recharge after a busy day, honoring that request without judgment or guilt-tripping demonstrates respect. Failing to respect boundaries, on the other hand, can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and even emotional exhaustion, as one person may feel their needs are being disregarded. It's important to remember that boundaries are not fixed. They can evolve over time as the relationship grows or as circumstances change. For this reason, ongoing communication is crucial. Regularly checking in with each other about what feels comfortable and what doesn't can help ensure that both parties are on the same page. This open dialogue about boundaries fosters a sense of mutual respect, as it reinforces the idea that each person's needs are important and deserving of consideration. Boundaries also play a role in maintaining a sense of autonomy within relationships. Healthy relationships are not about merging identities, but rather about two individuals coming together while still maintaining their own sense of self. When boundaries are respected, both individuals can pursue their personal interests, goals, and self-care without feeling smothered or overextended in the relationship. This autonomy strengthens the relationship because both people can contribute to it from a place of fullness and self-awareness. Mutual respect and boundaries are not just important in romantic relationships, but in all types of connections, including friendships, family dynamics, and professional interactions. They ensure that every interaction is rooted in understanding, empathy, and consideration for the other person's well-being. When both respect and boundaries are present, relationships are healthier, more balanced, and more likely to withstand challenges over time. In the end, mutual respect and clear boundaries allow individuals to feel safe and valued in their relationships. By cultivating these two elements, we create an environment where both people can grow, thrive, and experience the joy of a meaningful connection without feeling stifled or disrespected. Nurturing empathy is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen and deepen relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, to step into their shoes and view the world from their perspective. It's not about solving their problems or agreeing with everything they say. It's about genuinely trying to understand their emotions and experiences. In relationships, empathy fosters connection, trust, and compassion, allowing individuals to support each other through both joyous and challenging times. Empathy begins with active listening. This means giving your full attention to the other person when they are speaking, without interrupting or thinking about how you're going to respond. It's about being fully present in the moment, not distracted by other thoughts or tasks. When you listen deeply, you show the other person that their feelings matter, that they are seen and heard. This kind of listening also involves paying attention to nonverbal cues, such as body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions, which often communicate more than words alone. One of the key aspects of empathy is suspending judgment. When someone shares their feelings or experiences with us, it can be easy to make assumptions or offer advice right away. However, empathy asks us to put aside our judgments and focus solely on the other person's emotional experience. It's not about whether we think they should feel a certain way or whether we would react the same way in their situation. Instead, it's about acknowledging that their feelings are valid and worthy of respect, regardless of whether we fully understand or agree with them. Empathy also involves emotional attunement, which is the ability to connect with another person's emotional state. It requires us to be emotionally available and vulnerable ourselves. To truly empathize, we must be willing to tap into our own emotions and recall times when we may have felt something similar. This helps us relate to the other person on a deeper level. For example, if someone is going through a difficult time, reflecting on moments when you faced hardship can allow you to offer support in a more meaningful way, even if the circumstances are different. Another important element of nurturing empathy is validating the other person's feelings. Validation doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with them, but it does involve recognizing their emotions as real and important. Simple statements like, "I can see how you would feel that way," or "that sounds really difficult," can go a long way in making someone feel understood and supported. Validation shows that you are not dismissing or minimizing their emotions, but rather acknowledging the impact those feelings have on them. Empathy also plays a critical role in conflict resolution. When disagreements arise, taking the time to understand the other person's perspective can help diffuse tension and create a path toward resolution. By empathizing with their point of view, even if it's different from your own, you open the door to constructive dialogue rather than escalating the conflict. This understanding allows both parties to feel respected and heard, making it easier to find common ground. Empathy requires practice and patience. It's not always easy to put aside your own thoughts and feelings to focus entirely on someone else's experience, especially in emotionally charged situations. However, the more you nurture empathy, the more natural it becomes. In doing so, you build stronger, more compassionate relationships that are based on mutual understanding and care. Ultimately, empathy allows us to connect with others in a way that transcends words. It deepens trust, strengthens emotional bonds, and fosters an environment where love and understanding can flourish. By practicing empathy, we create relationships that are more resilient, nurturing, and supportive, enriching both our lives and the lives of those around us. Growing together in a relationship is a process that requires patience, effort, and a shared commitment to evolving both individually and as a couple. It means embracing the idea that a relationship is not a static thing, but a living, breathing connection that needs care, attention, and nourishment over time. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires both individuals to be open to change, to learn from each other, and to support one another through the inevitable challenges that life brings. At the heart of growing together is the understanding that each person is on their own journey of personal development. Healthy relationships allow space for both individuals to explore their own passions, goals, and dreams, while also encouraging each other to reach their full potential. This mutual support creates a sense of partnership, where both people feel empowered to pursue their individual growth without feeling like they are sacrificing the relationship. It's important to recognize that when one person grows, it doesn't take away from the other. Instead, it adds strength and vitality to the relationship as a whole. Communication is key to growing together. Open and honest conversations about each person's aspirations, needs, and desires allow both individuals to stay connected as they evolve. As people grow, their perspectives and priorities may shift, and it's essential to share these changes with each other. By communicating openly, couples can adapt to new circumstances and ensure that they continue moving forward in the same direction. This ongoing dialogue helps to prevent misunderstandings and keeps the relationship grounded in trust and understanding. Growing together also means facing challenges together. Every relationship will encounter difficulties at some point, whether it's external pressures like financial stress or internal conflicts like differing opinions or emotional struggles. Instead of allowing these challenges to create distance or resentment, couples who grow together approach them as opportunities for learning and growth. By working through problems as a team, they strengthen their bond and develop a deeper sense of resilience. These shared experiences often lead to greater empathy and understanding as both people learn more about each other's strengths, weaknesses, and coping mechanisms. Flexibility is another crucial aspect of growing together. As life circumstances change, whether it's a new job, a move, or a family decision, couples must be willing to adapt. Rigidity can cause frustration or create distance, while flexibility allows the relationship to evolve in a way that accommodates both people's needs. This doesn't mean compromising one's values or desires, but rather being open to finding solutions that work for both individuals. Flexibility helps couples navigate life's twists and turns without losing sight of their connection. Growing together also involves celebrating each other's successes and milestones. Recognizing and honoring each person's achievements, no matter how big or small, fosters a sense of pride and encouragement within the relationship. Celebrating growth not only reinforces the bond, but also motivates both people to continue striving for their personal and shared goals. It creates an environment of positivity and mutual admiration, where both individuals feel appreciated and valued. Finally, growing together requires a shared vision for the future. While personal growth is essential, it's equally important to have collective goals that both people can work toward. Whether it's building a family, creating a home, or pursuing a shared passion, having a common purpose gives the relationship direction and meaning. This shared vision keeps the relationship grounded, even as both people continue to evolve individually. In the end, growing together is about embracing change, supporting each other's personal development, and fostering a connection that deepens over time. It's a dynamic process that requires effort, communication, and flexibility, but the reward is a stronger, more resilient relationship that continues to flourish. By growing together, couples not only strengthen their bond, but also create a foundation for a lasting and fulfilling partnership.